I recognise the Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Thank you very much. Well, I'd be very disappointed if you didn't, Mr Speaker. It's a real pleasure to talk in this debate this afternoon, but the subject I'm really disappointed in. I haven't seen very often in this Parliament the inconsistencies and misleading that the Honourable Nick Smith has indulged in the last 2 weeks, and I say that it does a disservice to the whole of this House. The reputation of this Parliament should be important to all of us. If a minister ends up doing something that isn't right, then I think it's incumbent on that minister to front up and say so. But what we've seen is the Minister of Conservation, having been briefed clearly on a draft submission from the Department of Conservation that they wanted to make, and actually it's their statutory obligation to make, to the Board of Inquiry looking at the proposal for plan changes to do with the Ruatanawha Dam. They were concerned about it. They wanted to make a submission expressing their concerns, particularly about the water quality and the impact on native fish. That is their responsibility. They briefed the Minister. He has consistently denied knowing of the existence of that submission. How can a minister be briefed on a submission, raise concerns about it, ask for a copy of the full submission before it is submitted, and then deny its very existence? That is not credible. Today I was very disappointed that the Minister was not able to join us in the House to answer questions, and I think that my disappointment was only matched by the disappointment of Nick Smith's colleague Tony Ryle, who clearly was disappointed that he was passed the parcel, an absolute hospital pass, in trying to justify the inconsistency that I just referred to. He has said, Minister Nick Smith has said, I didn't give the department an indication of what their submission should be, and yet the Deputy Director-General, not a junior staff member, a competent, well-regarded professional, sent an email out to her senior colleagues saying the Minister has expressed concern about our submission. He wants to see a final copy of it. You should send it over tomorrow because I'm out of town. I'm quoting from the email, Mr Speaker, rather than referring to you. And then she said, he has expressed concern and might want us to let the determination about the water quality be made by the EPA. A clear indication from the Minister about what should be in the submission and what shouldn't. Again, we've had the Minister denying that. Neither of those denials, the denial of knowing about the submission, is clearly not credible. The Minister had a briefing, expressed concern and asked for a full copy, and then said, I didn't know of the existence of the draft submission. That is just totally unbelievable. It just cannot be true. He then said that he didn't have any influence on that submission at all. And as I have just said, if you line that statement up against the statement of the Deputy Director-General from the email that was sent, that is now on the Department's website, that statement clearly isn't credible either. And this afternoon, we've had further revelations of ministers riding roughshod over their department in relation to this very same proposal, the Ruatanawha Dam. Had David Cunliffe been allowed to table the documents that he sought leave to table and was denied by the Honourable John Banks, then that would be out in the public domain, and I certainly hope he's able to table those in the future. MPI, another government department, expressed concern in their draft management about the Ruatanawha Dam proposal, about the phosphorus management, about the lack of industry best practice, about the economics of the proposal and about the nutrient management system. Very similar concerns to that expressed by DOC. No doubt reported that to their minister, and what did their final submission say? Their final submission omitted everything about the water quality and went from the draft submission saying the economics of this proposal are very dodgy, very risky, to saying this is a very solid proposal on economic grounds. A miraculous U-turn in what the department thought. Another
I
case
call
of
the
interference.
honourable member Chris Ockenball.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much indeed. And I'd just like to say, and I'm sure the Honourable Annette King will join me in saying to the Honourable Tony Ryle, 60 million thank yous on behalf of the people of the West Coast for the Grey Base Hospital. That is one of the most wonderful pieces of news that we've had in recent times. But one of the most important things to National is, as they know, you can see it in their eyes, they know that one of the most important things to National is supporting families and households. And, Mr. Speaker, we're doing it in spades. We're doing it in spades. We're doing it with our clear plan to take New Zealand forward. We're doing it where it matters, when it matters, and for whom it matters. How are we able to do this in times of earthquakes, global recession, and continuing economic risk? We do it through having the Prime Minister we have got. We do it from having the Cabinet Ministers we have got. And they, in my view, work extraordinarily hard. And we do it through having the whole of the National Caucus working with our coalition partners as a team, quite right. A united team. One of the biggest differences between centre-right and centre-left